Man has contemplated many a thing over the course of history. Are we alone in the universe? Why does your nose run but your feet smell? Does Bruno Mars is gay? But one question that every generation has pondered without fail is, are my old cards still good? One pepped up Sunday morning, I was thinking to myself, man, some of the older Vanguard cards were really cool. Like this guy, a counter charge and an extra attack. Java would kill for a card like this. And this one, Soul Blast for an extra attack on Magnolia's turn 3, that's just sick. And I can't believe that a guy who swings at a whole column and calls stuff when he hits ever got replaced. I thought these cards were way too good to just sit in the annals of history. So I thought I'd take them into ranked. I wanted to see if I time traveled back to set 3, if these cards could keep up with some of the crazy stuff Vanguard has nowadays. And it was pretty wild. The first deck I went with was Nirvana. I'll let my second game with it speak as to how it went. Haha, based. Based as hizzy heck. Alright, cool. What'd I say, dog? What did I say? Hey, let's go. Well, sparkling, it's gonna be in the YouTube video. Sorry, man. Well, actually, not sorry. And I thought that would be a pretty good place to end it with Nirvana. I really enjoyed Urger in the deck since it was really fun to just toss around the extra attack, plus he was fantastic defense on top of it all. And although some triggers were tossed around during the fight, I really liked the idea of it and how it flowed, so I'd say I had fun. With all I wanted out of Nirvana under my belt, I switched over to the second deck that I had lined up, which was Bruce. Now I had really high hopes for this deck, since I knew from personal experience that Leonard was busted when he came out. And I can definitely say that I wasn't disappointed. Oh dang! Oh, now I feel kind of bad. Do I feel bad? A little bit, maybe. I don't want to be too ganky about it. I don't want to win just because like I ripped OT. I don't really care about keeping my Edens, but I do feel bad about just being out here ripping triggers like it's my day job. I feel like the deck worked pretty well there. Regardless of the triggers, Leonard, Derek, and Eden absolutely cleaned out board after board for my opponent in that fight. Although after a game like that, I kind of wanted something to show a little more of the aggro aspect, so I could really enjoy the full extent of my deck, and really see what it was capable of, and oh, they over-triggered defensively. Well, that's okay. That slows the momentum down a bit, but if Bruce is known for one thing, it is building up momentum out of nowhere. All I really have to do is survive the turn, and then I can start back up and... oh. You know, there's some games that you just gotta go next, you know? It's just how the cookie crumbles, how things happen. Sometimes they're just better than you know? Sometimes they're just better. So I decided I wanted to play Magnolia. Now, out of all of the 3 decks, this is the one that I thought would do the best. Magnolia on a Persona Ride turn is not something to be trifled with. And although getting the Persona Ride can be a bit inconsistent, I think that with a little luck, we could do some really cool stuff. Oh. Well, you can't win them all. Getting a crit on a big restander on turn 3 is pretty solid, I gotta say, and sometimes you just gotta take those. But our next fight is against Prison. Certainly a little tough since I don't have a lot of resource building cards in the deck, but if I can use Magnolia's tempo to my advantage and keep most of the game in the earlier turns, then well, they probably should have guarded the Vanguard there, you know? Usually the best thing to do with Magnolia, I think. But we have another fight with Ava. The early game in this leans in my favor, and we got 2 perfect guards in hand after a pretty solid offensive turn, so as long as things keep up like this, it seems like it'll be a pretty good fight for us. Oh, that one was probably karma. Well, despite how those games ended up, these cards definitely ended up being super fun to play with. They felt pretty interactive and not too strong, except Leonard, and I had a really good time trying them out against some of the more current support. But in this whole endeavor, I think I neglected to think about how influential and even more ancient power of Vanguard was. Which is that triggers are just good. Oh man, I think it's enough Vanguard for me for today. I'm gonna play me some Pokemons. Bread dog.